Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel At Home with Chelle and to another foodie video. So those of you who watch my videos will know that I share quite a lot of foodie content over here. If you do enjoy that kind of thing, then I would love for you to subscribe. I do also have a foodie Instagram page. I'm not that great at updating it, and when I remember I do try and update it, and that is Eat Well Not Less _UK. There's loads of recipes over there that has all the calorie and syn information, so if you want to check that out and make some stuff over there. But today I wanted to share with you a few kind of pretty easy midweek meals that are ideal to eat in the summer. So it's really hot in the UK at the moment, and sometimes it can be a bit of a struggle with what to eat for dinner, even being bothered to cook, to be honest. So yeah, today I'll be sharing with you 4 delicious meals that are really easy to prepare. They're basically the perfect summer dish to be enjoyed sat outside in the sun, in the gardens, enjoying the little bit of nice weather that we do get in the UK. So I will include the calorie information for all of the meals that I'll be sharing with you. I'll list the ingredients down below, so if you want to shop anything, then that will all be in the description box down below. And I'm also following Slimming World, so we'll include the information if you are following Slimming World. So yeah, I really hope that you find this video useful. Let me know if you make any of the meals that I'm sharing today and what you think of them. The first meal that I'm sharing with you is it's like a shakshuka dish, which traditionally is kind of tomatoes and eggs, and you would maybe have for breakfast or brunch. This version is a little bit more filling and having it for dinner. I'm trying to eat a little bit more kind of veggie as well, so I've got a couple of veggie meals in this video. And this is, so this comes in at 420 calories per serving, so really low in calories, and comes in at only half a syn per person if you're following Slimming World. So a really great meal. It only takes about 10-15 minutes to get ready, and it's just something that's a little bit different as well. These are all the ingredients that you'll need to make the shakshuka. So obviously traditionally shakshuka is a dish that you'd maybe have for breakfast or brunch, but we're going to have it for dinner this evening. And what I've done here is just finely diced 1 red onion, 1 red pepper, and then I'll add some butter beans, so I'll drain those. And then you can add some tin tomatoes. I really like these cherry tin tomatoes. I feel like they add a little bit more. I'll add a tablespoon of tomato puree and then a teaspoon of harissa paste. This really makes all the difference. Definitely worth adding. If you haven't used harissa paste before, it's great to add to loads of dishes. I always just keep some in the fridge and it lasts for ages. I've got 3 garlic cloves, and then I'll sprinkle some feta over the top. I think when I was just going through the ingredients list, I forgot to say about the eggs, but obviously you'll need a couple of eggs per person too. So put a fairly large saucepan onto a high heat and then spray it with some oil. Then you want to fry off your onions and green peppers for around 5 to 10 minutes. I sautéed the onion and peppers for a few minutes and then added the garlic, the harissa and tomato puree. Then you want to mix that together and fry it off for a couple of minutes. Left that for a couple of minutes, it's all mixed together. Then pour in your tomatoes, and then I'm just going to fill this tin back up with some water and add that too. I've filled it around 3/4 of the way full. Pour that back in, and I'll just turn up the heat a couple of minutes, give it a stir, and just leave that literally just for a couple more minutes. So I'm now going to add the drained butter beans in and give that a good stir around, and just season it with a bit of salt and pepper. Leave the bean mix simmering, just leave it until it starts to thicken up a bit. And at this point you can put your eggs on. So there's a couple of ways of doing it. You can either put your eggs directly in here and almost kind of bake them in the dish itself, or what I'm going to do is do it with some soft boiled eggs on top. I'm going to do soft boiled eggs with it, so I'm just going to put my eggs into boiling water, and then what I like to do is cook these for 6 minutes and then put them into an ice cold water bath for 3 minutes, and then you get the perfect soft boiled eggs. So after 6 minutes you just want to take them straight out and put them straight into freezing cold water, and I normally leave them in there for around 3 minutes. This just stops them overcooking but keeps them nicely soft boiled. It's now thickened up nicely and it's ready to serve. So I'll get the eggs out now and they should be perfectly done. So I'm just going to peel them, be gentle with them because they are quite soft still. Add a couple of eggs on top of each bowl and then sprinkle with the feta and enjoy. Next up is a salad, and I eat quite a lot of salads, but I can get quite bored of salads sometimes because I might have a salad for lunch, and although it is quite nice to have a salad for dinner, I like to make it a little bit different. So this is a chicken salad that I also use chickpeas in just to fill it out a little bit, and it's made with a spice mix called Zatar. It's a great spice mix. It's kind of like a almost like a Greek style mix, and I put it on loads of different things, and this has got it on the chicken in here. It's absolutely delicious, and this literally is on the table in less than 10 minutes. Comes in at 1 syn per person, and this one serves 2 as well, and is only 337 calories per person, so a super low calorie lunch. And when I was making this, my partner said there's not going to be enough there, and then actually when we ate it there was more than enough, and we were both very full afterwards as well, and it only came in, like I said, at less than 350 calories. This is everything that you'll need to make the chicken salad. So I've just making this for Nick and I this evening, so I've sliced up 2 chicken breasts here. I've got about half a cucumber that I cut in half and then half again, like little slices. Handful of tomatoes, about 3 spring onions, 1 red chilli, and then I've just weighed out 240 grams of chickpeas. So I use these chickpeas, they're the Bold Bean Company. To be honest, I only normally buy them when they're on offer, and these are the nicest chickpeas that I've ever tried. I can just eat them out of the jar, they're so tasty. Then you'll want, this is your secret ingredient, so you'll want some Zatar. It's basically a Middle Eastern kind of spice mix. It's a blend of sesame, sumac and thyme. It's really tasty. And then a handful of pomegranate seeds and some parsley to sprinkle on top. So you'll also need 1 lemon or just some lemon juice if you haven't got a fresh lemon. You want to put a large frying pan on, a medium to high heat. I've just sprayed it with some fry oil, and then in here you want to fry off the chicken strips, the red chilli and the spring onion. Just fry that off for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then after that the chicken should pretty much be cooked. Whilst that's in there, I'm just going to season with a little bit of salt and pepper. After a couple of minutes, the chicken is pretty much cooked through, so just double check it. And then you just want to pour in your chickpeas and just heat these through. Just kind of stir fry for about another minute or so, just until they're warmed through. So after about a minute or so, I'm just going to remove this from the heat. Then you want to add in a couple of teaspoons of the Zatar mix, So just sprinkle that all over. I'm going to throw the parsley in there as well, and then the juice from half a lemon. Give that all a really good stir. You can add some salt and pepper at this stage if you want to as well. And that is pretty much it. It's then ready just to dish up on a plate with the rest of the ingredients. So I've just poured in the tomatoes and cucumber. You can obviously just do this in the bowls, and then I'm going to dish it up between us. So I've just dished that up, and then I'll finish it off with some pomegranate seeds sprinkled on top. There we have it. That is literally on the table in less than 5 minutes. It's actual summer on a plate. So delicious. Next up is another veggie dish, and the star of this show is definitely the tomatoes. Tomatoes are great this time of year. I find that they're always on offer. They're so sweet and delicious, and this actually roasts the tomatoes. So this is a tomato Orzotto. So it's like a risotto, but it's made with Orzo, which is basically pasta instead of risotto rice, and it's just so much quicker to make because you don't need to stand there kind of ladling in the stock and stirring it all the time. Yeah, and you roast the tomatoes as well with some garlic and thyme in there, and it just gives the most delicious taste. Again, another veggie meal. This one is completely sin free and comes in at, I haven't worked the calories out on this one actually, I thought I had, so forgive me, I will work the calories out on this one and then pop them on the screen so you can see what it was, but I think it was around 500-ish calories from memory. So like I said, this one is super easy with minimal ingredients and fuss. So the main star of the show are the tomatoes. So here I'm making this for 2 people. If you want to make it for more, just double the ingredients. So I have got about 400-ish grams of cherry tomatoes here, and then I've got 150 grams of Orzo. You'll need some balsamic vinegar. I've got some vegetable stock here that I've just made up using a stock cube. I'm going to be using I'm using 350. It'll be 750 if you are making it for 4 people. I need a little bit of parmesan on the top, red onion, a couple of garlic cloves, some fresh thyme, and some tomato puree. I've just heated the oven up. You can also do this in the air fryer, but I'm just doing it in the oven just so I can get on and leave it. And then I'm just going to remove all of the tomatoes from the vine and then pop them into a baking dish. So to the tomatoes, I've just added a couple of tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, a spray of oil, the thyme, chopped up garlic, a little bit of salt and pepper on there, and then I'm going to roast that in the oven for around 30 minutes at 200 degrees. The tomatoes have been in probably about 10-15 minutes. I'm going to make a start on the Orzotto itself. So I've just finely diced 1 red onion, and then I'm going to fry that off to let the onion soften for around 8 minutes. See that the onions have softened nicely. I'm just going to add in 1 chopped garlic clove. Give that a stir and just fry that off just so the garlic cooks for about a minute or so. I completely forgot to video that bit. So all I've done is, once the onion was done, just added in the Orzo and then the tomato puree, giving that a good stir together, and then I'm going to pour over the chicken stock, bring that to the boil, and then let that simmer for around 10 minutes.
Just a lady and a million so how do you expect to go on the plan for all the 3 or 4 years in the store?
So So the risotto is pretty much done now. The pasta is cooked, and then I'm just going to remove these thyme kind of sticks from in here. And then what I'm going to do is basically add half, so roughly half of the tomatoes, and stir them through. So stir them through here. All of the juices in there as well with a lovely balsamic. And then stir that through the orzo just for a couple of minutes, just kind of mash it in, and it will just add a lovely flavour. And then I've got about 20 grams of the grated parmesan I'm going to add in to here as well, and just save a little bit extra to go on the top. Stir that through. It's pretty much ready. I'll just season it with some salt and pepper, and then I will divide that between the two bowls and then put the remaining tomatoes on top. Then serve the tomatoes on top of the orzo, add in some of the balsamic dressing, and then the remaining cheese on top. Such a simple summer meal. And lastly, something a little bit different. It's almost like a take on a Vietnamese type dish, I suppose, and that is a spring roll bowl. So it's almost got all of the ingredients that you typically put in a spring roll. So it's got some pork mince in there, like spring onions, cabbage, all of that kind of stuff, and then you serve it with noodles to kind of pack it out a little bit, so it's a noodly, yeah, kind of a spring roll bowl. That's really hard to say. This one actually serves 4 people, and this one comes in at 1 syn per person, and again really quick to make as well, and is only 559 calories. These are all the ingredients that you'll need to make the spring roll bowl. So here I've got probably around 1/3 of a cabbage that I've just finely sliced, a handful of mushrooms. You'll need some vermicelli rice noodles, 5% lean pork mince. I'll need a few sesame seeds, some carrots that I've probably got about 3 carrots in here that I've just peeled, and then just kind of use the peeler to give ribbons like so. Then you'll need some sesame oil, oyster sauce, soy sauce, and then I'm just using some garlic and ginger paste. I've got 125 ml of chicken stock that I've just made from a chicken stock cube, and also some bean sprouts, and then some spring onions to sprinkle on top. So to start off with, I'm just going to cook the vermicelli noodles. I mean, I say cook, but you don't really need to do anything. So just pop them into a bowl and then pour boiling water over the top of them, and that's basically it. So I probably need some more water actually. So just leave that for about 5 minutes and it'll be done. Put a large saucepan or wok onto a high heat and just spray it with some spray oil. And then you can either use fresh ginger or garlic, but I'm just using this ginger and garlic paste because it's easier. So I'm just going to add about a tablespoon into there. And just fry that off for around 30 seconds. Just until it becomes nice and fragrant. Then into here, add in the mushrooms. Just fry that off for about 2 or 3 minutes. Once the mushrooms have started to soften, then go in with your pork mince. Just break that up with your spatula and then fry that off for around another 2 to 3 minutes. You can see the pork is almost cooked, so that's been about 3 minutes. And then into here I'm going to add in the sliced cabbage, the carrots, and then a couple of handfuls of bean sprouts as well. And then just basically stir fry that for another couple of minutes, just trying to mix it all around. So just keep it on a fairly high heat whilst you're doing this. So meanwhile, I'm just going to finish off the sauce for this. So I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I always use the reduced fat one. So this is only a half tablespoon. My other one's in the washing. 2, 3, 4. So that's 2 tablespoons of that in there. And then you want to add your oyster sauce. So you want about a tablespoon. Oh dear me, try and get it in. Probably should have shook this better. And then lastly, your sesame oil. So you want a tablespoon of sesame oil into there. I'm just going to add some black pepper into the sauce mix as well. Give that all a good stir together, and then that will be ready to pour over that in a minute. So meanwhile, I left the noodles in the warm water or the boiling water for about 5 minutes, drained them in cold water, and then I've just set them to one side so the cold water kind of stops them sticking together. And then my pork mixture is almost done, so I'm just going to pour the sauce over it, cook that off for a couple of minutes, and then it's time to dish up. Put in the noodles into a bowl, so just divide them equally between bowls, and then top it with the pork mixture. And then lastly, you just want to add on the spring onions and sprinkle with a little bit of the sesame seeds. So they are the 4 summer meals that I wanted to share with you this week. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's given you maybe some inspiration of some different kind of meal ideas to cook, especially when it is really hot at the moment. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. And if you would like to see kind of more meal ideas like this, then please let me know, and I will plan on doing that over the next couple of weeks. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye.